Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. Today's video is all about early pruning, care of tomato plants. If you want to subscribe and follow me, I'll show you how I take care of these through the season, through the summer, and you can learn in real time how to take care of your tomato plants. And we're going to be setting up and using an aspirin spray. Aspirin, the salicylic acid, mimics a hormone in a tomato plant, makes it think that it's being attacked by a fungus when it's not, and the tomato plant will beef up its immune system basically and defend off future fungi better. I'll explain all of that. I'll show you how to make it. I'll show you how to apply it. So it's just about June 1st. The tomato plants are doing really well. These are indeterminate varieties. First thing, we're going to be pruning indeterminate tomatoes. Those are the tomatoes that grow 6, 7, 8 feet tall, that keep growing all summer long. You don't want to prune determinate variety tomatoes. I will talk about those in a future video. So this is the Homestead variety, and right in the middle you can see right down at the bottom, that's the main stem coming up. We're going to prune off a couple of the lower branches to begin to create a gap between the ground and the lower leaves. That helps with airflow, helps from soil splash and disease getting up on the plant. But you don't want to overdo it. And then we're going to lightly take out some suckers in there. So let's start with taking care of this tomato plant. I start pruning my tomato plants when they're about 18 inches tall. Eventually we want a gap between the soil and the lowest part of the lowest leaves on the tomato plant of about 10 to 12 inches. But obviously you don't want to do that now. You'll be stripping away all the leaves. So as the plant is growing, you're just going to take off a couple of the bottom leaves. So let me just cut these out of the way so you can see a little bit better. So the main stem comes right out of the ground, and that's what you don't want to cut. We're cutting off right here, and right behind it. Now it looks like, you know, a lot has been removed, but it's not going to harm the tomato plant, and that's really our first start. And then you get back in, there's a leaf here, a leaf that's hanging down really low, touching the ground. We're going to get rid of that one. Take a couple of these weeds out of the way. Let me trim that back a little. And this is the beginning of creating the gap below there for air circulation and flow, so your leaves stay drier, helps manage funguses better. And also, in case you have soil-borne disease, when it rains or you're watering, the soil's not splashing up on the undersides of your leaves. Nice and clean, nice and green. This would be also the time you want to put down a little bit of mulch, any kind of mulch. Just, you know, that's another barrier. The mulch covers the soil and prevents soil splash from getting up under the leaves. Now that we've taken off a lot of the bottom, we're going to look in here for suckers. What's a sucker? So you got your main stem down here, it grows, a leaf comes out just like this. Let me twist it for you. Main stem, leaf comes out. The leaf you want to keep definitely right in the joint. Here's a close-up view. So the main stem is right here. The leaf is coming out this way, right in the joint where the stem and the leaf meet. That's what we call a sucker. It's basically a production stem. Because your tomato's a vine, it sends out really another vine. So this will continue to grow. It will put out a leaf. It will put out flowers, and tomatoes will form on there. When you're gardening, you don't want every sucker. There's one there, there's one there. This is actually a sucker because I cut the leaf off. That has to get removed. Over here, that's a sucker because a leaf was coming out this way, just like that. I'm removing that. The plant gets really big. So if I were to keep this guy right here, let me get it in better view. That's the production stem or the sucker, main stem, leaf. This would just continue to grow. It's going to get 5, 6, 7 feet tall. Same with the one right over here. You have the main stem, the leaf coming out, and right here is the sucker. That will continue to grow and produce tomatoes. You may want that, but this plant's going to get massive. So I'm going to remove this one, snap it out, this one, and this is how I'm going to leave this plant for now. You can see the main stem coming straight up. We have a leaf, we removed the suckers that were right in here. Keep going up, more leaves. This is a sucker that I'm going to keep because I'm going to let my tomato plant go into 2 production stems. One that's going to go out here to the left, one that's going to go out here to the right. I'll explain more about double stem pruning. if you want to subscribe and follow me. But this guy, let me get back here, is pruned up and ready to sit for another 7 to 14 days, and we're just going to let it grow. I mean, he looks beautiful. And then just a quick look. Now let's come over here. This is a determinate variety Tiny Tim. That's what it looked like. That's a tomato that has to be pruned. And you can see how it's much more bushier. And then we come back over to this guy, and it's all cleaned up, and we're starting that splash barrier. As this plant gets bigger, like when it grows probably another, I don't know, 12 inches or so, I'll probably remove these 2 leaves. I have the big gap right there. This tomato plant's ready to go for most of the season. All right, let's get to spraying these with the aspirin spray, and I'll talk to you about what it does. Making the aspirin spray is pretty straightforward. This is a 2-gallon sprayer. I filled it halfway. There's 1 gallon of water in there, so you always mix this ratio to 1 gallon of water. It's 1 or 2 tablets of uncoated aspirin. This is going to dissolve. It's not going to clog the sprayer. If you get the aspirin that has a coating on it, that coating doesn't dissolve, it'll clog up your sprayer. So you want uncoated aspirin, 325 milligrams. It must be aspirin. You want the salicylic acid that's in aspirin. That's what mimics the hormone in the tomato plant. So we're going to put in 2 drops. This water's a little bit warm because the hose was warm. And you're going to want to let it sit here 5-10 minutes, dissolve, really shake it up. Again, I just want to stress a 325 milligram tablet, uncoated, 1 to 2 tablets in a gallon of water. Now, I used to spray this every 10 to 14 days. 10 is a little bit early. I was spraying about every 4 weeks. That seemed a little bit late. So this year I'm going to go with 14 days. Probably every 2 to 3 weeks is perfect. Why do I say that? Once you spray the aspirin on there, you really soak the leaves, we'll soak the stem and the base. I'll show you how to do that. The reaction, the response the tomato gets from being sprayed with aspirin, I think lasts about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So you don't have to keep spraying this every week, every 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to spray the aspirin on there, soaks in on the leaves. We're going to spray the stem, the base, root system. It absorbs the salicylic acid. It mimics a hormone that's naturally inside the tomato plant. So like when a fungus would get on here, the leaf would know, it would send out this hormone. It sends out a response via the hormone to beef up its defenses, toughen up its leaves, and really try and fight off the fungi. What we're doing now is we are fooling the tomato plant thinking that it's being attacked, and the defenses get really strong, and if some fungus come and land on here, it's beefed up its defenses, and it's really hard for that fungus to take hold. So let this dissolve, then we're going to just shake it up and spray it. We are ready to spray. It's only aspirin in here. You don't have to add anything else. Because it's just aspirin, this basically recipe formula can sit a good 10 to 14 days and you can use it again, probably longer, but you shouldn't really make more than you can use within a week or 2 with the aspirin spray. But this can sit perfectly fine. Now I get a lot of questions about what else can I use this on. Great research is on the tomato plants. There's not really anything else that it helps. Notice that I am just nicely soaking the leaves, underside, top side, get the stem, and then right at the base, just spray it in. That's all you really have to do. That's going to supply enough of the aspirin, the salicylic acid, to fool the tomato plant into starting its SARS response, basically. You can look up aspirin spray in tomatoes on the internet. You'll find a lot of great research. Again, you're just soaking the top. You can spray this any time of the day. You can't really overdo it. I mean, you could spray this every week if you wanted to. It's just not necessary. Then get the undersides real quick. And then notice we didn't prune this guy, so it's a little bit harder to get down there. But just spray the stem, the base, and you're really good to go. This will, again, beef up the defenses of the tomato plant. This is not an antifungal spray. It doesn't do anything to treat the outer parts of the leaves or manage the fungus that are on there. This is something you have to do ahead of time. Beefs up the response, tomatoes toughen up, basically. Once this is dried, I'll come in, because I just pruned everything down here, I'll water this tomato plant in really well, and this guy's off to a great start. Let's just take a look how much nicer he looks. pruned up, ready to grow, and this is what it looks like when it's not pruned, and I'll take care of that right after the video. Again, please subscribe. I will show you how to take care of these tomato plants through the entire season. Pruning, dealing with pests and disease, feeding, midsummer feedings, side dressings, staking, even harvesting and cooking with the tomatoes. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. And remember, the aspirin spray doesn't treat fungus on the leaves. It beefs up the defenses of the tomato plant, so it prevents fungus from taking hold. Thanks for watching.